Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for September 11th, 2020. Breitbart News reports, Joe Biden told Americans not to panic about coronavirus in February. Former Vice President Joe Biden attacked President Donald Trump on Wednesday for downplaying the threat of the coronavirus earlier this year to discourage panic, but he himself told Americans not to panic about the disease.
Barack and I, when we were as president and vice president, we took on the virus that was threatening all of Africa and the rest of the world. And we set up a mechanism that worked. But I want to take a moment to say it's not a time to panic about coronavirus.
Biden would later repeat his admonishment not to panic about the coronavirus in a speech on March 12th, the day after the World Health Organization declared the virus a pandemic. On that occasion, Biden also warned people not to downplay the virus, which is what Trump admitted in March to journalist Bob Woodward he had done because he did not want to encourage panic. An article from Town Hall states, Trump explains his coronavirus comments to Woodward. President Trump defended his Wuhan coronavirus comments Wednesday during an interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity, saying he didn't want to scare the country. Outrage from the left took over the news cycle earlier Wednesday after an audio clip from a February interview with journalist Bob Woodward leaked, where President Trump is heard saying he always tried to play it down because he didn't want to create a panic. The president then pointed out how prominent Democrats reacted to the virus in its early stages in the United States.
The risk to New Yorkers for coronavirus is low,
and our city preparedness is high.
This should not stop you from going about your life, should not stop you from going to Chinatown and going out to eat. I'm going to do that today myself.
Come to Chinatown. Here we are. We're, again, careful, safe, and come join us.
There is no concern at this time for coronavirus in our region.
The Department of Sanitation is ready for Mardi Gras 2020.
The facts are reassuring.
We want New Yorkers to go about their daily lives.
But there's really no need to panic and to avoid activities that we always do as New Yorkers. We are a hardy people.
Americans do not need to panic. What I would suggest, however, is that Americans take this as a wake-up call for seasonal flu.
There's very little threat here. This disease, even if you were to get it, basically acts like a common cold or flu.
So we're telling New Yorkers, go about your lives, take the subway, go out, enjoy life.
And certainly not to miss the parade next Sunday. I'm going to be there.
If you had to, would you close down the borders?
No.
We need to be honest about the American people, with the American people, about the fact that we can't keep people coming here from China.
And transmission is not that easy. I think there's been a misperception that coronavirus hangs in the air waiting to catch you. No, it takes direct person-to-person contact.
We also know that if it were likely to be transmitted casually, we would be seeing a lot more cases.
Right. The news media also severely downplayed the virus as well.
In late February, President Trump began downplaying the coronavirus by likening the illness to the seasonal flu.
People are like, I think I have the flu. Could it be the coronavirus? Overall, most people should not be terribly concerned about it. You definitely want to pay attention.
Should they panic?
No, Americans do not need to panic. What I would suggest, however, is that Americans take this as a wake-up call for seasonal flu.
Flu is a much bigger deal.
There's an important context we need to keep this in, and that is that the flu is more deadly.
Maybe this is a good opportunity to remind people of that.
Such a good reminder.
And while there's a lot of fear over this coronavirus, the flu is already widespread in the U.S., and it really is much more deadly, is it not?
Coronavirus is not going to cause a major issue in the United States. We're going to have 40 to 60,000 deaths this year in the United States from the influenza, and it's preventable.
And there are only 12 confirmed cases of coronavirus here in the States.
The risk is low. The risk, however, for the flu is through the roof.
Health warning from doctors why they say people should be more worried about the flu than the coronavirus.
Half of the people in America do not get a flu shot, and the flu right now is far deadlier. So if you're freaked out at all about the coronavirus, you should be more concerned about the flu.
And finally, an op-ed from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reads, Remembering Flight 93 and Heroes of 9/11. Americans should honor the memories of the nearly 3,000 precious lives we lost that day. For many years, each and every American had a memory of virtually the same moment to recall on September 11th. Each of us knew the minute when we realized our country and everything we believed in came under assault. We each could recall how our great nation came together and moved forward. Today, many young Americans who were born after the attacks have no direct memory of what transpired, and it is for that reason, among many others, that the Flight 93 Memorial has become even more critical to transmitting the story of American heroism, perseverance, and sacrifice to the next generation. This Patriot Day, I encourage all Americans to honor the memories of the nearly 3,000 precious lives we lost on September 11, 2001, as well as every hero who has given his or her life since that day to protect our safety and our freedom. As a nation, we must remain forever grateful to the heroic men and women who serve as our first responders and charged into a raging inferno in New York and at the Pentagon. We must recognize and appreciate the great numbers of our armed forces who fought in defense of our country in the aftermath of the largest terrorist attack on American soil. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for September 11th, 2020. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.